Astra VXR. I've had it for just over a year, and I've finally managed to get it tuned. It's not just any old tune, like most of the VXRs out there. There's only a few like this in the country, I would imagine. This one has an ECUMaster EMU Black, and on the dyno it made 304 horsepower and I think 450 Newton meters. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what it can do. I'll probably get in the car because it's chucking it down, show you a few launchers, flat shift it, show off the anti-lag a little bit. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hope you enjoy the video. So, here is the goods, so to speak. The ECUMaster EMU Black, standalone ECU, and we've also got the EDL1 data logger. So the kit is made and sold and mapped by Sam at Manor Performance, or resold by Ash at Giz Motorsport, I think they're called, who is very well known in the VXR world. Mine was done by Manor personally. I can't fault their service. They were super quick. Literally, I think it was 3-day turnaround. Like, I wasn't even prepared to pick the car up. It was that quick. The price is reasonable. It's what you would expect for a standalone ECU. It's not a cheap thing to get done, but it's not stupid expensive either. Like, if you were to get your own loom made custom for something like a Link G4X, you're probably looking at another grand on top, because that's what I was about to do before Sam conveniently started selling the kit on his website and I got in touch. So just to go over the figures and the features, obviously it's a standalone ECU. So, sorry, this car is rattly with the Vibrotechnics mounts sometimes. Obviously it's a standalone ECU, so you get wideband oxygen sensor as standard, and it runs closed loop fueling. So within reason, even with sort of deviations in conditions and stuff, you're always going to be hitting the target AFR that your tuner has set, and you should be able to either be alerted or implement some sort of safety or limp mode if you go way too lean, which is just great for protecting the engine. I have personally got an additional oil pressure and temperature sensor and DGT sensor, so I can see how hot the exhaust gases are if I'm about to melt a valve or the turbo, which is especially important when running that anti-lag that I demonstrated earlier, which, by the way, you switch on with the aircon switch like this, which is pretty goofy. This car is AC deleted, but it's quite funny. You want to cool down the cabin? Nah, anti-lag. And it's proper functional rally anti-lag, so you'll have heard when I switched it off, or when it turned itself off after 4 seconds, because that's the limit on it, it fluttered, like it was making boost with my foot completely off the throttle above 3 grand, and you hear the flutter as if you just dumped the throttle whilst doing a pull. Like, it's making 5 psi or something. I can check the logs, because we've got that data logger in the engine bay. That'll store hours of logs. But yeah, it's functional anti-lag like a rally car, not just useless pops and bangs like your average chav wagon, which I know this car is. We've also got a switchable map on the sport button, so with sport unpressed it's limited to 270 horsepower. I believe it's just a boost limit at 1 bar, like boost control switched off. With sport pressed we get the full 304 brake at 1.3 bar, and that 1.3 bar tapers off to 1.2 I think at peak torque, because we're actually making is it 330 foot-pounds, which is about where you're starting to get into spicy territory on stock rods on a VXR, and then back up to 1.3 bar after that, and that's with a 14 psi wastegate spring, although it breaks off at 12. It was sold as a 14 universal IWG twin port. It's using the stock boost control solenoid. Nothing had to change there. We're not running a massive turbo or really running into any boost control issues. But basically the huge benefit of this is that with this car, ideally, now I have stopped spending money on power and handling and stopping, will be getting used monthly for hopefully at least a track day a month or hill climb or whatever I can find to doing it and afford, because that stuff is expensive. I want to be certain that I'm not going to blow something up. The engine, namely turbo, anything attached to it, and the Standalone gives us both miles better drivability than stock. Like heel toe rev matching in this thing is just insane. Like how responsive it is and how accurate. I used to have to stab the throttle to get it to rev up with my heel to heel toe when I'm downshifting, and now it just revs to exactly the throttle position you command instantly, like quicker than it ever did before. It doesn't kangaroo at like driving around in first or part throttle around a high-speed corner like I had this car doing at Donington. It was not very stable, going 70 around a corner. So like, this is really a no compromise sort of thing. I mean, setting off and like cold starting's not perfect yet, but we can tweak that. Like, it's just a little bit more time tuning. It's never going to be right the first try, when the first try at tuning it is in 26-degree weather over 2 days. Like, you can't get cold start right in that time unless you're some sort of wizard or you've done it before. And this is the second car Sam has tuned with this setup, and the other one was 500 horsepower with massive injectors, so the cold start settings are just going to be completely different. And the other thing is the low speed, just setting off, it needs more revs than it used to before. The factory ECU would give you some sort of enrichment and help you out there when you start to bring the clutch up, and this is slightly easier to stall if you're not paying attention, but it doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's just one of those things. This thing is just epic now. The noises, immense. The actual car just feels great to drive, better than stock, as I said. Let me just wind it out again. The handling, the diff, you can feel it pull you around the corners even stronger than before, which is a really insane feeling. Diff actually works better now the car has more power, if that makes sense. Sort of the torque makes it want to turn in while on the throttle. Yeah, honestly, just a crazy feeling. Okay, that was below the RPM that flat shift goes to, so it just went mental, but fun. The rain is not the weather for it. I'll have to take it out and give it a proper hiding in the dry on track probably to get the most out of it. Like, I'm actually for the rest of the drive going to take it out of full power. Okay, maybe I lied. Low boost lasted all of 10 seconds, then the car in front went 3 miles an hour around the corner and needed chopping. Just trying to think if there's anything I've not mentioned. There's sort of a lot that changes with this setup over stock. Obviously you've seen the flat shift. I guess we can enable traction control and launch control. I did do a launch with Antilag on, just to simulate the launch control, and obviously you saw me spinning the wheels in the wet. So all that stuff is possible to set up, it just isn't done yet, which I will do as soon as I get around to it. It's just not a priority at the minute, because I don't expect to be launching the car in the wet all too often. But like, the wheel speed sensors are there on the CAN bus, And the other thing I wanted to do is get the cruise control working. That's the one thing that is missing. Everything else works as stock, like you can see the stock clocks work when I rev. Miles per gallon doesn't work, but who needs that? I'm going to be getting rid of this screen for a tablet and connecting the Bluetooth from the ECU so that I can see all my gauges in the middle of the screen and I don't have to have a gauge pod. So much to talk about, honestly. But yeah, the one thing that doesn't work is cruise control and the steering wheel buttons. I want to do rolling anti-lag. So if you're roll racing, you can hold it down, it'll latch your current RPM and build boost, so you're full throttle and the car's not speeding up. And then when you release the button, it lets you go and you launch from full boost at whatever speed you were roll racing at. So what I need to do for that is wire something up to the high speed and low speed CAN bus that replays whatever messages I choose. Probably be a device that plugs into the OBD port, or you could wire it in under the dash if you are confident with splicing CAN bus wires, which I'm not. But basically it will see, oh, this button's been pressed on the low speed CAN bus, and replay it on the high speed CAN bus with a fresh ID and whatever data the ECUMaster needs to be able to turn on cruise control, change the speed, cancel it, or activate rolling anti-lag in this case. Otherwise, the radio will be gone when I put a head unit here. There's a TES that I'm going for, which there'll be a video about shortly. So I could make a blanking plate and install one of the ECUMaster switch panels here, which would also be pretty cool. Nothing for certain yet anyway. But yeah, I'm now gonna finish up getting other shots of the car going fast and doing crazy stuff, this time from inside. You'll have already seen those edited in. But otherwise, I do think that is it for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to see the full year-long build process of this car, everything I've done to it, apart from like one spark plug change and coil pack change a few weeks ago, has been filmed. I'm going to take the car back to Donington. Last time I went, it had 170 wheel horsepower because the recirc was leaking and barely kept up with the GT86, but the handling was pretty good, so I can't complain there. This time it is going to struggle to stop for the corners. Doing 110 down the straight easily, lifting off before braking point. Now I think it'll do 130 plus pretty easily, especially if I carry it out. And it was cooking the brakes after 3 laps with less than stock power. So yeah, going a lot faster. It's going to be sketchy, but it'll be a fun day out. Like I said, there's a hill climb event I'm eyeing up, and maybe if Camber and Combustion do another training day, I'll get on that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.
Every day